All right, welcome back. Today we're going to put together a few topics that we've already discussed. One is qualifying your hand on the flop, and the other is sizing pre-flop, depending on how many people are in the hand. Same as always, let's take a look at the table. I have 8,000 chips. The blinds are 50, 100, which means we're probably pretty early on in the tournament. I have ace-king, which is a premium hand, according to the poker model. So with premium hands, we're trying to get action in pre-flop, and the other premium hands are aces and kings. I'm in the big blind. Let's see how the action comes around. So we have a raise from under the gun to 200. If all of the action folded to me, my 3-bet or re-raise would be to 600. We want to make it about 3 times that initial raise. All right, we have another call from under the gun plus 2. So now that there's 2 callers in the hand, my 3-bet would be up to 800. So with the additional player, I'm going to add 200 to my bet size. And the reason for that is we want to make it harder for people to get into the hand. We don't want every single person calling. We want to try to isolate. Wow, look at this. From the cutoff plus 1, another call. So now I'm thinking my 3-bet would be 1,000. And one last call from the button. So the action's on me. Again, I know that I'm going to 3-bet. I'm calculating the size as we go around the table. So I know that I have to make a 3-bet to 1,200 here. So that's what I do. All right, the 3-bet worked pretty well in that we got 3 of the 4 players to fold. So now we have isolation, and the player from the button calls. Let's see what flop comes to determine our next move. Okay, the flop comes king 5-4. So what we're going to do is we're going to qualify our hand as good, bad, or mediocre. Now, usually, top pair, according to the poker model, is a mediocre hand. It's a hand that we want to check. We want to see how the hand plays out. We want to get to the river, flip our cards over, not lose a big pot, stay in the tournament, all that stuff. But because we had to make that big 3-bet pre-flop, and because we got a caller, there's now 3,000 chips in the pot. So I still have 6,800 left, which is 68 blinds. And the button has 4,600 left, which is 46 blinds. So usually, if there's a short stack and we have a hand like top pair, it becomes good. Top pair becomes a hand that we want to get all of our chips in. So when I look at 3,000 in the pot and I see that making a half pot size bet, which is just an average bet, is actually 1/3 of my opponent's whole stack, I start to think, I kind of want to get all in right now, because one bet from me and then one all in for my opponent is everything. And that's all the chips that he has, and I won't have to make any more decisions. So I like this spot when the pot size is big and the stack sizes are small. If the pot was small and the stack sizes were big, there's more action that's going to occur later that can kind of mess up our hand. But we like this situation here. So remember, with mediocre hands, we check. So we're not going to check in this situation because we're already thinking our top pair hand, which is usually mediocre, has become good. So we are going to make a bet. And I make it about 1/3 of the pot, a little bit more than that, because I actually want to induce an all-in. I want the opponent to think that they can get me off the hand with a flush draw, or maybe a king with a lower kicker, or something, right? So that's why my bet's slightly smaller. I want him to be able to go all in and think that I might fold. So I make the bet. Remember, I'm making this bet as a good hand, a hand that I would like to get all my chips in, and my opponent folds. So what we saw today is, again, you can only do so much in different situations. So I have to make that 3-bet with my premium hand. It has to be 1,200 because there's so many people in the hand. When I hit a good hand on the flop, I have to try to get all my chips in. Now, if the flop was bad, I would have had to make a continuation bet with a bad hand to try to win the pot right now. So just keep that in mind. There's a couple of variations of ways that you can get to your flop and making your decisions, but no matter what, you can always qualify your hand, and you will always know what action to take as a result based on stack size, table position, and the strength of your hand. So thanks again for checking in today. We will talk to you soon. on the Poker Model Breakdown.